Hello and welcome to Anchor Point and welcome to another podcast. Today I have Trevor Greenaway with me. He is the father of an individual who had a brain injury. Today I'm going to ask Trevor 3 different questions about his experiences of being a family member after brain injury. Welcome, Trevor. Thank you for joining me today. Could I just start by getting you to explain a little bit about what happened to Harvey, please?
Yes, certainly. Maybe just before I do that, I'm a husband, a father of 3 boys, and lived a very normal life. And then on May the 12th, 2018, unfortunately, my middle son at the age of 16 was involved in a life-threatening and life-changing motor accident, which ultimately resulted in a month in intensive care. To sort of another 2 months in the John Ratcliffe Hospital, followed by close to 6 months in the OCE Rehabilitation Centre in Oxford.
And what was the care like for Harvey that he received after that injury?
Yeah, I think, this is where we should be so proud of our national health system. It was incredible. It was incredible, Ali. I mean, from airlifting him into the John Ratcliffe, to the support that he got through that intensive care period where he was given a very, very low percentage chance of living, to the high dependency ward, where clearly they probably could have done with more people, but they were amazing, right through the OCE where he had speech and language, he had physio, psychology. It was absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Fantastic. And what was the support like for you as a family and for your wife and your other children?
Yeah, I think this is the bit where I got to be honest, Ali. The reality is, it was completely non-existent. Whether that meant the start where we were sitting in a waiting room with other families while our child was on a life support machine, where we were just desperate for information, advice, anybody just to reassure us. Everything was focused on Harvey and was focused on the patient, and there was no focus on us as a family, which, looking back, I now realize why we've had the challenges we've had as the years have gone on, because of that lack of support. Everything was about the patient, nothing was about the family, and I realize now that that has had a profound impact on all of us in our family.
Yeah. So when you think about that impact, can you tell me a little bit about what that was and what you would like to say to other family members out there?
Yeah, I think in the early days, Ali, just don't give up hope. I think it seemed that the only information we ever got was very, very bleak, and I understood that the situation was bleak, but I now understand that there's no 2 brain injuries the same, and as bleak as Harvey's original prediction was, he has done tremendously well, albeit he still has a life-changing disability. So I think, don't give up hope, no matter what you're told, because anything can happen with a brain injury, and that really is true, as I've seen through all the other people I've met on this journey. I think the next thing that I wish somebody had told me is, it's human nature, particularly when it's your child, to focus on the one that is fighting for his life. But you've also got a 15-year-old and a 20-year-old who are struggling like crazy with this. One at university, one at school, trying to get through his GCSEs or start his GCSEs, and his mother, the mum and dad were living at a hospital. And I realise now that whilst we sat with Harvey every day for nearly 8 months, there was many periods where we probably would have been better suited to have been with our other children, helping them. Not that we didn't, but I wish somebody had helped me understand the importance of that.
Yeah, there's a really difficult balance to strike, isn't it, when you want to be with your child who's desperately unwell.
It is. And, you know, again, I think I just wish I could have spoken to another dad who could have said to me, look, particularly in the early days, I mean, Harvey was in a coma for a long time, and then he was locked in his own body. And there's an argument of, you know, that maybe that time would have been better spent with the others, trying to support them, because they were desperate like us. But the other, I guess the other thing, Ali, that I really want to say to other families is, you know, I'm 57 now. This happened when I was 52. Sadly, men of my age are too proud. I've never seen a therapist in my life up until this. I didn't see a therapist for the first year. And then I realized I was falling apart from a mental point of view. And, you know, unbeknownst to me, I guess it's obvious now looking back, but I had PTSD, and that has a pretty profound effect on a person. And, you know, and lo and behold, my other children have struggled. My wife has struggled. Obviously, we've all struggled as a family. And I think all I would say to people is, don't be proud, accept that what you've thrown into here is unimaginable. And it's no sign of weakness to reach out early to get mental health support. You know, and I was one of the lucky ones. I had access through the mental health team at the OCE. And I worked with an amazing psychologist there, albeit I should have worked with her much earlier. Mm-hmm. But, you know, she has become a big part of my recovery, if you like, and my ongoing recovery. And, you know, she's become a really good friend because she understood the situation. The only other thing that I would say is that, particularly when we left the medical and the OCE environment as a family, you know, the support, we fell off a cliff, basically. There was no signposting. Yes. There was no direction as to what was available to us. I think I only wished Anchor Point had been available at that point. And the reason that I'm really proud to be a part of Anchor Point is because people that are thrown into this, like we were, you know, you now have a place to go where you can get that signposting and you can, you know, get advice. But I struggle with the fact that as good as all the medical help was, how could we be released, if you like, from a medical environment after 8 months with no support whatsoever? Yes. That was extraordinary and had a huge impact on us as a family. And to Harvey, you know, it was difficult to get his therapy as well. As nobody ever asked us, Ali, if we wanted to be a carer or what was involved in being a carer, or training us on being a carer. There's just an expectation that that's our role.
Yes, that's what you would do. Mm.
Yeah. So they would be the things I think I'd say to other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's an interesting point. And you said earlier about how your son wouldn't recognise that term carer, and actually many family members don't necessarily recognise that term carer either. It's the role that we fall into rather than a role that we choose to adopt formally.
Yeah, I think very much so. And I think you hit on an important point, is that you can't expect family members or friends, frankly anybody who's not in the, you know, in the center of this, to really understand this. You know, brain injury is devastating and has an incredible effect on the individual and therefore everybody around that individual. And I think, you know, perhaps for too long I got frustrated that people couldn't understand. But now I realize, why would they? Yes. You know, that is, it's impossible to understand. So I think, you know, that's one thing, is recognize that as a person going through this.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Trevor, for joining me today. And thank you for talking so openly about your experience. And I know we'll be doing another one of these podcasts as well, where you'll be talking about that role of yours as a carer. So thank you for that one in advance as well. Thank you for today. And I hope that those of you out there listening to this have found this podcast interesting and useful.
Thank you, Ali. Pleasure.